got lots to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, look at this awesome UFO captured by a security camera where you can actually see the reflection off of the water of this object. Very intriguing, very compelling capture of something coming off of the water. Could this be a mystery drone or something that becomes a mystery drone? Because those are often said to come from the water or from over the water or from within the water. Who knows? Of course, lots of UFOs come from the water. So who knows what this is? It looks very lenticular or saucer shaped. But yeah, just an amazing capture of something that to me looks very anomalous. So let me know what you guys think. Meanwhile, about 3i Atlas, a remote viewer, Angela Ford, remote viewed 3i Atlas. And if you don't know who she is, she's been on Sean Ryan. She's been interviewed by various people like Maim Bialik. I'm probably mispronouncing that. You recognize her. She was on Big Bang Theory. But yeah, so she is a renowned... not Naeem, but Angela Ford is a renowned U.S. Army remote viewer and psychic spy. Well, she is saying about 3i Atlas, baffling scientist, very fast movement, pushing forward, very colorful, has drive, was designed. It has a drive, meaning, some sort of, propulsion that's not natural. And it was designed, so an artificial object or something artificial about it. Not harmful to the human race. Okay, well, that's encouraging. Once studied, 3i Atlas will prove beneficial to us. Okay, how do you think 3i Atlas will prove beneficial? Maybe just because of UFO disclosure? Will it, raise some intriguing areas, how to proceed with propulsion? Or what do you think she means by that? My feeling is the 3i Atlas accidentally veered off course because 3i Atlas was designed, it leads to alien technology. Yeah. So yeah, obviously we didn't make it. I mean, I guess you could, there's a whole long convoluted series of circumstances that we could have made it, I guess. But more likely we didn't make it. Somebody else did, if indeed it is artificial. So yeah, let me know what you think about what Angela has to say here. Speaking of 3i Atlas, NASA says we are hosting a live event today to share the latest images of the interstellar comet 3i Atlas, collected by several NASA missions. Tune in for details and send in your questions in the live stream. All right. Well, can we trust these guys? Can we trust these guys? Yeah, there's a spoiler alert. Here's a recent live stream they did showing interesting objects in the sky. And apparently they were, cutting their live stream during the transmission. Were they trying to hide something? Was this a technical glitch? I don't know, but look at this weird stuff that's just drifting. I don't even know what this is. What are we looking at with this? I have no idea what NASA is capturing here, what they're sharing. Is this a debris field? Is this asteroids? Is this supposed to be something related to 3i Atlas? I really don't know what this is. But there are some interesting, anomalies or potential anomalies with what NASA was sharing. Let's see. Let's go to that right here. This is intriguing. Let me know if you think this is a UFO. We've got a cat over here trying to get attention. Okay, here we go. Yeah, look at that bright object there. Bright, round looking, spherical looking object. So are we looking at an orb or a UFO? Could that just be, random debris that's shining in the way that this other debris is kind of shining? Or are we looking at something more interesting? Is this a UFO? Is that a cloaked UFO? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that weird debris field NASA was sharing in those dots, those bright lights that are inside of it. But if you do, let me know in the comments below. And let me know if you think we can trust NASA during the live stream. I have very little trust in NASA. Yeah, the new head of NASA just came out recently saying, "Oh, we're transparent. Of course, we're committed to transparency." But are they? Are they? Meanwhile, of course, the alien tube guy who did the live stream the other day, drilling into the alien tube with the markings on it that look like the Boogosphere. Yeah, he's admitted it was all a bunch of BS.
Does that sound familiar? Is it like because I'm acting this whole thing out? Maybe. And you can think to yourself, if you were one who believed all this, maybe I was retarded. Yes, guys, it is all fake. I'm coming out to you now to say that. I got a lot of people trying to find me, and some I think have found me. So I guess it's time to end it. People showing up to my parents' workplaces too.
Okay, people showing up to his family's place of work, so he's coming out admitting it was all a hoax. And this is on the heels of the Panama meteorite monster. I guess we're just going to have a series of hoaxers putting out BS and, misdirecting people, which I think is really unfortunate. I mean, these people really should be ashamed of themselves. There is genuine anomalous stuff going on out there. And we're trying to clue the public in on that and get them to realize we live in a much stranger universe than the powers that be want us to believe. And it's an uphill battle getting them to believe that and getting them to understand that UFOs are real and that some of these other things are real too. And that we can even interact with it. And maybe it can even help us in some way. We could evolve as a race, right? So it's really important that these people are doing crap like this, which totally, taints and, tarnishes the whole thing in some people's eyes. They'll look at these hoaxes and they'll say, oh, well, if that's a hoax, then everything else must be a hoax as well. You can't take anything seriously. Why waste your time on that? So, these guys should be ashamed of themselves. But there you go. The alien tube is, as many of us suspected, is, of course, a hoax. But this is not a hoax. What was going on in Australia or New Zealand back in the day? From Billy Carson to the Wandjina rock art of Australia's Kimberley region. Some panels believed to be over 4,000 years old. Depicts otherworldly figures with large halo-like heads and stylized features, while traditionally representing ancestral spirits and rainmakers and indigenous dreamtime. Some researchers suggest they may also reflect encounters with mysterious visitors from the stars. Yeah, I mean, you can totally see why people would say that, right? I mean, they look pretty funky to me, guys. Some funky aliens going on. Now, they do have 5 fingers, which I think is interesting. So maybe they're representing people, but maybe not. I mean, those don't look like any people I know. If you know anybody that looks like that, let me know in the comments below. And it's got this weird aura or halo over it. Looks like it might be trying to represent some sort of consciousness ability or spiritual ability of these beings, which is what you often hear reported from NHI. So is that what they're trying to depict here? Some sort of, next level being? I don't know, but it's super fascinating. I definitely think they were interacting with beings in that part of the world back in the day. And of course, beings were interacting with people all over the world and still are. And I think that's what's going on here. But I do think a lot of the indigenous peoples of the world were probably more closely connected to some of this. Their minds were more open. They were more in touch with nature, whatever it was. And I think we're looking at an example of that right here. But I could be wrong, so let me know what you think. And it's probably a mix of some stuff as well. Meanwhile, Army Secretary says drones pose threat of humanity's lifetime. But he's optimistic about the U.S. approach. Okay, well, I'm glad that he's optimistic. Angela Ford's optimistic, and so is this guy. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll said Sunday that drones pose the threat of humanity's lifetime, as officials have warned of escalating aerial security risks. But he's also hopeful. If you look at the speed and scale of the devastation that can come from drones, we as a federal government have got to lead on it. But I'm really optimistic. This is actually something we are doing right. He outlined that the U.S. Army has been put in charge of the counter-drone threat for the Pentagon and is working hand in glove with the law enforcement agencies. What we're trying to do, he says, because this problem is different from nearly anything faced in a long time, is flying IED. They're cheap, you can 3D print them at home, and they cross borders incredibly quickly. Now, of course, he's talking about regular drones here, but we can, infer that, the furor caused by the mystery drones, is something that he's reacting to here. People are aware of drones and drone incursions and shutting down airports and military installations. And so he's forced to issue, this statement, or he's compelled to issue the statement. So, I think that the public's awareness of the mystery drones is causing him to do this. And of course, he's just giving a blanket statement saying something about regular mundane drones, and that he's optimistic and, hey, they've got this, nothing to see here. So that's my read on what he's saying here. But it's good that the public is aware enough of the mystery drone phenomenon for him to feel this pressure to respond to. So that's something, if nothing else. Meanwhile, I've gone over this before, but the Tesla bomber, his manifesto was classified. That is just so weird to me. He was talking about mystery drones. He was saying they were Chinese. Now, I don't think that makes any sense, but it's really interesting that it's classified. He said a lot of things in that manifesto, so who knows specifically what was classified. But if it's classified, then it's got to be accurate, right? Or, something, right? Somebody thinks it's accurate. Somebody thinks it's worth classifying. So that is really interesting. Let me know what you think about that and what you think could be the classified part of it. They classified the whole thing. That doesn't mean the whole thing is necessarily, the gospel or whatever, but some part of it might be. Meanwhile, another great UFO captured from my favorite volcano in Mexico, Mount Popo. I can't say the name. It's a longer name. But look at this. Look what the hell is this? You've got a fleet of UFOs seemingly coming out of this freaking volcano. What is up with this volcano? I mean, my God, I've shown so many UFO videos where these objects are coming in or going from this volcano. I mean, this is clearly a huge hotspot. Now, this was captured in 2023, but this has been going on for years. Something major is going on with this crazy volcano. I don't know if they're extracting minerals or if there's an underground base there or what it is, but it's just super fascinating. And it's ongoing. I just showed another one just taken a few days ago. I mean, who knows how long they've been there? Have they been there for hundreds or thousands of years? Or, whatever they're doing, whether they're drawing resources, heat, energy, going and coming from, underground bases. What is up? What is up with this thing? This is just super fascinating to me. I mean, they interact with volcanoes all around the world, but this particular volcano, it gets a lot of action. This volcano, it does. It gets a lot of action. So let me know what you think is going on there. I'd be really curious to know your thoughts on that. Meanwhile, from David Haith, who breaks down podcasts and interviews, and I'm really grateful to him for that. I certainly don't have time to watch every single podcast or interview. I wish I did. But David is referring to this one from UFO Chronicles. Ex-Air Force security policeman tells of being abducted by aliens. A former U.S. Air Force security policeman has come forward to UFOs in Nukes, author Robert Hastings, revealing during his 1964 abduction at Vandenberg Air Force Base in California, an entity apologized for traumatizing him. Well, very nice. Okay, we got optimistic people today, and we have apologetic aliens. The being said it was necessary for them to gain intelligence about the missile silo, stating that they needed to find a way to prevent the launch of our missiles in the event of nuclear war. He said the Earth was a valuable asset for them, and they would not allow us to destroy it. Well, that does seem to be the case. They've been very interested in our nukes and have been since the outset or the onset of nukes. They're still interested today. They're still hovering over our nuclear installations, and the mystery drones are continuing that pattern. And it could very well be for this exact reason. That makes a lot of sense. They're protecting the Earth, not necessarily protecting us, but at least they're not wiping us out in order to protect the Earth, I guess. And we are still a resource too, of course. They're still abducting people and taking DNA or genetic material to create hybrids and doing whatever the heck they're doing. And hopefully it's, there's also some benevolent reasons for that as well. I don't think the phenomenon is homogenous. I think there's a whole bunch of different parts to it. But weirdly, they do all have, they have the same MO, that is, abductions, genetic experimentations. They all seem to be able to look like each other. They all have the same overriding commands or, edicts. That is, no direct disclosure, not going to fly giant UFOs over cities during daytime. The prime directive, they all seem to honor their prime directive, if I could say it. So they all have a lot of commonalities, and there's, it's very blurry, the distinctions between them sometimes. And there seem to be good ones and bad ones of every race, just like people. But it does make it harder to pin this stuff down. But either way, they don't want to wipe us out, evidently, and they are seemingly very concerned about the Earth. They abduct a lot of people, and millions and millions of people. And some of these people, probably a lot of them, they implant, propaganda. It may be the wrong word, but they kind of brainwash people, gear people toward saving the planet and the environment and being very environmentally conscious. That seems to be a thing, and sometimes they're not very nice about it. That does seem to be a concern of theirs. They're against nukes or concerned about nukes and concerned for the planet. But at the same time, they seem to want us to continue. So, yeah. All right. Let me know what you think about that. But I'm so glad that he came forward talking about that. That is really interesting. Getting some more insight. And it also shows that people are, I think, more willing to talk about this stuff. So that's good too. Meanwhile, I told you a spoiler alert. All right, check it out. Baby elephant helping a guy do push-ups. Let me know what you think about this awesome push-up technique and everything else covered today in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support the channel, buy a coffee mug in the merch store or become a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.